All right, hi everybody. We're going to go over counts today. And so once again, I'm going to show you what data I have and go over the different options for count. There are 4 different ones, and I'll show you kind of the differences, why you'd want to use each one, and maybe your best options. So we're going to be using our orders table. Again, this is just sample data I found online. But for this, we are mainly going to be focusing on where are they? Our customer names. And then we're also going to be looking at a couple of the price options, so price and discount as well. So what you can see I've done here is I have taken out some of the states. So we're not going to have 50 or however many you'd initially assume. I did a distinct count on the front, which I will show you, but there are some that are gone, and then same thing with customer name. So this isn't going to be completely as obvious as you think. It's not that because there are 50 rows, there will be 50 customers or 50 states. So keep that in mind as we move forward. So I'm going to close this out, and I have created 2 measures called state and regions. You can see there's 37 states. So I did a count. So keep in mind, this is not a distinct count. This is just general number of states or provinces. And then for regions, I did the same thing, except for this one, I did a distinct count. So there's only 4 regions, but we have a total of 37 states. So just to make that confusing, right? So we're going to start with just the regular count. That's the one that I feel like we've all used the most. So we'll call this count. And so as we may or may not know, count is something that we're only counting a column name. It will not count blanks, but it will pretty much count numbers and kind of generalities, right? So it'll count general amounts within a field, but it is limited mainly to text and numbers. So we are going to do the count of our customer names. And so with this, we will grab a card, throw it up here, and we have 47 customer names. Now, keep in mind, this isn't a distinct count. So even when we look in Power Query, maybe somebody ordered twice. They're counted twice within this count, right? This was not a distinct count. We can go over that in a little bit, but this is just a general how many fields are filled out in the back. So next we are going to make a measure for count A. Count A counts quite literally everything, which is it's nice. You don't have to worry about, is this a true or false field? Is this something that's a little bit more complex? For the regular count function, this will count anything. It will not count blanks though, which is really nice. So we will use count A. As you can see, actually, when we start to type in count, there is actually a function called count blanks because none of these functions will count blanks. So we have count A, and we are going to do the exact same thing. So we have our customer name here. And so this is going to successfully count all of our customers. So we have 47 as well. This did the same thing. It did not count the blanks, and it's still not a distinct count. So it just went through and said how many are within, how many are not blank within this column. So now we're going to look at Countx. So Countx is a little bit more complex, and it's set up a little bit differently. So we're going to put in our table. So we're going to use the orders table. And then here we can use an expression. So we are able to use measures and write maybe some more complex expressions. So we're going to use this distinct count of regions and the states. So we are actually going to tell it to divide, and our numerator is going to be the regions measure. Our denominator is going to be the states. So it's going to be 4 divided by 37, essentially. And so we have written our expression here, and we're going to say, all right, count this for me. And so I'm sure you can probably guess, right? We're going to get 37. Now, why is that? Because 37 is the highest number possible, right? It's not actually counting what the answer is. It's not counting 4 divided by 37. It's counting of these 4 and of this 37, what's the largest amount? It's always going to return that largest amount. So that's when you write your expression, you want to be careful that you're not writing something that you're expecting it to say 4 divided by 37, right? You're not expecting, I don't know what that would be, like 5 something. You're not looking for that. You're looking for, I'm comparing these two numbers, and it will always say, oh, this one's the biggest. I counted the most here. So we have 37. And then finally, we're going to look at Countax, which is going to go through, and this one is set up a lot like Countx, where you have your orders and then you can write an expression. So this one will do one that actually works. So this is going to count the number of values which are going to result from the expression. And it's going to be for each row of the table. So kind of like the Countx, where you have 4 rows for our 4 regions, and you have 37 for the state. It's going to look for the 37. It's going to look for the largest number. But for this one, our expression is going to be the orders table, and we'll look at discount, and we'll multiply that by orders unit price. So as you know, there are 50 rows within our table in the back. So we have our Countax, and it's going to return 50 because it doesn't care what the discount times the unit price is. It's saying we have 50 discounts in this table. So we counted those, and then we counted how many are in the unit price, which is 50. So when it talks about it's returning the number of rows evaluated from that column, we had number-wise, when we look at discount times unit price, since there were 50 for each, it's going to return 50 in that response. Hopefully that makes sense. I know that the counting can be a little mysterious because you're trying to go through and write expressions that logically make sense, but it's truly just counting the response number within there. So those are different types of counts. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back soon.